Y'all, the devil be busy. When I tell you he be busy and he work fast, baby, he's busy and he be working fast. But anyways, I gotta tell y'all a story. And I was just so blessed in my spirit. I just had to get up at 10:30, about to go to sleep. Just had got done texting this person or whatever. But I just had to get up to tell y'all this story because I feel good about it. So a couple of weeks ago, I met this dude at this seminar. You know, uh, we exchanged numbers, and from there we were texting. He would always like jokingly say stuff, but he would like be like trying to find out if I like had any ideas or whatever. We was bouncing ideas off each other. That's what he wanted to do. But like I'm a real closed person. I don't like to too much be telling people my business, and then it's not really good to tell people, the things that you're trying to do. Especially when you just started out. People out here stealing people ideas. You know. But anyways, so we was texting, and he would always be like kind of flirty or whatever. I just passed it on because I'm not trying to be in a relationship with nobody. I'm fully content with being single right now, and I feel good about it. But yeah. So he was like, "Well, let's meet up." I was like, "Well, I work the way I work. I can't just be meeting up all the time. So if we meet up, it's gonna have to be like on a specific day or whatever. Like when I'm off, maybe on an off day." So we met up that night, and I had to go to work, but I was like, "Well, I'm gonna meet you because it ain't no other time I'm gonna have to come meet you." So we went and met up in a public area or whatever, and he was sexual then. But we had conversations on the phone. And I went and met him because he said he was saying stuff like about changing your mind and changing the way you think and being positive, about trying to be positive about every situation and make a conscious decision to be positive, and look on the brighter side and be optimistic about it, and how he really had to create, uh, had to think differently, had to move differently, everything, even the people he's surrounded. Cool, right? Talking to him, I realized that because I wanted to do that, and I thought I was making a conscious decision to do that. But once you start talking to people, and sometimes you lose track of the things that you pray for, or you said you set out to do. Okay, so back to the story. Had kept talking to him, and that first time we met, or second time, when he was in my car or whatever, he was like really sexual, you know, um, and like I made a decision to go celibate. So, um, whenever what was happening, I was like, didn't want to stop, but in the back of my mind, I was like, dang, Tamika, like, why you doing this? Like you need to stop before it go too far. You know what you want to do. You know why you doing it. You need to stop. So I was like, okay, because he was ready, baby. He was trying to get in the back seat. He had gotten in the back seat. He had undone y'all. He was ready. I was like, nah, I gotta go. Shit like that. I gotta go, or whatever. So, long story short, I kept texting, but I told my friends, people I knew, I was telling them like what happened. I'm like, damn, like this is the second time it didn't happen, and I didn't had to um, like get myself out the situation. And I had just told him that, like, you tell people that it's like they don't be listening to you, and they go and do the same thing. You just told them that somebody else that just did it, shit like that. But like, sometimes your body just want what it want. And at that moment, I thought I wanted what I wanted till I started thinking about it, and I was like, nah, Tamika, that ain't what you're doing to do. So over the few weeks, I kept talking to him. Nah, I can tell in the conversation I wasn't the type of person that he would like talk to, which was fine because I do not want to talk to nobody. I do not want to talk to them, and I made that very clear. But over the weeks, he kept being, flirtatious or whatever, sexual or whatever. Talking about sneaking me in. Baby, I'm grown. I'm not about sneaking nobody's house. I'm not about sneaking nobody in my house. Uh, but anyways, tonight I text him, and I just sent him a picture, like a friendly picture of my face, Still been friends with him, because he seemed like a good person to talk to, about being optimistic about life, stuff like that, being positive, business ideas, stuff like that. That's because that's how we met. We met at a business seminar. Well, after me asking him about sending a picture, and I was being funny. I was like, well, you writing me a poem, I said, what you doing? Write me a poem. He was like, and this is two text messages. He said, why would I be doing that? And then the second one was like, oh, I just feel so joyous. I went to church today, I've been studying my Bible and I just feel good about it, or whatever. And I was like responding just to that message, and I said, well, share with me, like, what did you learn? What are you studying? Share with me. And he was like, wow, we ain't lovers. Yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, OMG, like, wow, like, why would you even say that? He was like, wow, did you think that this whole time? No, I didn't think that this whole time. We don't even talk like that. We don't talk every day. We don't text messages like that. We don't talk on the phone like that. Why would I think that? But he said that to me, and I was like, he was like, well, I'm like, dude, I'm not even talking about the poem no more. He was like, I know. So I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, we gotta be lovers for us to talk about what you learned in church today, what you're studying in the Bible. And he was like, I know what you mean. He was like, but we gonna keep it real business because you don't respond the way I like. Oh, really? I don't. That was cool. That was fine. And I was like, looking at the text message, and I almost got offended, and I had to start to think, like, I don't even like you like that. I don't. Like, from the first time I met you, I didn't like you like that. But I say all that to say this. When he said that to me, us keeping it business like, and not talking about stuff, he would said he wasn't going to tell me anything else, giving me no more info, which I hadn't been asking him anything, unless he was spirit led, and felt the need to say K, which I didn't know what that meant, but he was like, we're going to keep it business, cool. I was like, cool. And I said, it's interesting. And I said, that hurt me. I said, but I felt that. He was like, oh, I know you did. Real cocky. It's cool. Whatever. But I say that to say this. All I could think about is the stuff I pray for, and how good God is, and how faithful He is, and how when you pray for stuff, you better be ready to receive it from God. God will never give us more than we could bear. And I've been praying for the past couple of months, couple of weeks, that the Lord keep my mind stayed on Him, keep me focused on Him. Whatever I gotta let go, to let go. Whatever I gotta do, to live the life that I want to live in Him. And y'all, lately, I've been having to dodge people because it's been on me. When you give up sex, boy, you be wanting it all the time. And it seems like people hit you up more. It's crazy. But I've gotten to the point where I'm content and I don't want to be with nobody, right now on that level. And it's been a struggle, but I've been doing it, resisting sex. Even if I'm like in a situation where I'm like kissing and, touching, like I stop it, I'm like, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, and I move on. I ask the Lord to forgive me and I move on. But it just shows me how, like, and sometimes it don't even be me, because sometimes, like you be fishing, and sometimes you can't stop. Sometimes the situation be where the other person needs to stop or say no, be in a position to stop or say no. But that just shows me how faithful God is and how He listens when we pray, because I'm like really serious in my heart. I really want my mind my heart and my soul to be focused on God. I hate living the life that I've lived, sinning against God, people looking at me like, oh, you're so spiritual. That don't mean nothing to me because I know the things I do, you know. Like I said before, like I'm a very quiet person, but that's because I don't tell people the things I do, People, I, I'm quiet. I'm quiet. I really am, but I do my dirt just like the next person. But I hate that I do that. I know I can't live perfect on this earth, but at the same time, I can sin less than what I'm doing, and I can do things that are pleasing in God's sight. And it just him saying that to me, oh, we gonna keep it real business. Like, thank you. I'm glad you said it to me because I need that. Sometimes I'm weak in my flesh. I need the other person to say no. And it's not all the time people will say no. People will let you go as far as you'll let them, But I thank God for that, and I thank God that He has the willpower to tell me no, And that's crazy how you even flip that conversation. What the hell, a bug, y'all? That's crazy how you even flip that conversation around because I didn't even like him in that way. Didn't even like him in that way. That's crazy. But another thing too, it showed me like how God has a purpose for everyone's life, right? So God has a purpose for this guy's life, and He has a purpose for my life, right? And He knows the things I ask for, and He knows the things this person asks for. Now, Him knowing the things I ask, knowing the things that I ask for, and having a purpose for my life and a plan for my life, right? And Him knowing what I want, He had to put in His spirit for Him to tell me, no, this ain't what you want. From this person, I got this for you. This is what you need to be doing. And He's strong-minded and strong-willed and doing what He want to do. I'm not to that point yet, but He knows what I want. He knows I want to stay focused on Him. He knows that I don't want to be with nobody. He knows I don't want to do any sexual sins or, against Him. So sometimes the other person needs to have a strong will. So His purpose for this guy's life affects me because it keeps me on the right path to do what the Lord needs for me to do and what I want to do for the Lord. Because I asked the Lord to show me His will and His purpose for my life and to follow that and be obedient to what He has for me. And sometimes we want to do our own things. Even though we pray for the things we want from God, we still want to do our own things, We ask God to live a holy and righteous life, and we still do things we're not supposed to do. It's because our flesh. At the end of the day, we're still human beings. But I thank God for every situation, every encounter I've encountered this month, y'all. It's been a crazy month. Crazy thing is, I was going to make a video a couple of weeks ago about, like, how, like, I've been dodging dudes. Like, I've been having to dodge these little situationships, these little sexual relationships. I've been having to dodge. Y'all don't even understand. Like, it's been crazy. And crazy to the point where, like, them putting their hands on me. And I'm not saying, like, oh, there's some rough stuff. I'm saying, like, just, like, getting to the point where, like, feeling on me. Like, but, dude, we just met. I just met you today. Like, I met you earlier. We've been texting off and on. I went to sleep. And we meeting up tonight, and you touching on me. But you shouldn't be touching. Just crazy stuff. It's been wild, but I just continue to pray, and I continue to ask the Lord to give me strength, for what I'm asking for, to keep me focused, to guide my footsteps, to order my steps. And I just thank God, and I love God so much because that's just confirmation about how much He loves me. I always ask the Lord, show me how much you love me, even though He's shown me. We still want to be shown. And He does. And I just feel blessed. And I feel blessed to tell y'all, Don't give up on the things y'all pray for. If what you pray for aligns with God's will and His purpose for your life, He gonna always come through. The Bible said God is faithful, and we gotta ride on it. We gotta ride on it. That's money. You could take that to the bank. God is good. I thank you.